Hi, welcome to our latest podcast episode. I'm Francesca and I head up the payroll department at SeavorChartered. Today we have Graeme, our director and client manager, and Liam, our chartered accountant. So just to start off, I'm going to ask for your thoughts on things at the moment. Graeme, would you be able to start us off with an update on some current businesses and their outlook on the economy at the moment?
Yeah, so it'd be good to get your take, Liam, as well. But I think generally the outlook's pretty positive. Businesses certainly that I work with, they're positive about what's happening. They're looking to grow the businesses, but they're definitely aware of the challenges. And I suppose we all are. You just turn on the news and you can hear what the challenges are for small businesses, the type of businesses we work with. But I think in the main, businesses are looking at it positively and they're just taking action to mitigate any of those challenges. Whether it's a national insurance increase, what to do with the wages, looking at pricing. And I suppose our subject today, it'll be good, won't it?
Yeah, especially off the back of COVID now. Clients seem a lot more happier and everything. Moving on, especially onto cloud accounting and everything, what we're going to be going on to today, they seem a lot happier and pressures have lifted a bit.
Yeah, I suppose farmers will be happy with the nice weather at the minute as well, won't they? And our farming contractors will be getting loads done.
Oh, yeah.
And construction, the weather isn't going to be holding them up, is it? So I suppose, again, they're going to be happy with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of businesses coming into busy times at the moment.
Yeah.
I know you have touched on our topic today is cloud accounting. Would you just be able to define cloud accounting and how it helps?
Yep, so cloud accounting, businesses have used accounting software for a hell of a long time, but not necessarily built in the cloud so that people can have instant access from anywhere. And I suppose cloud accounting is essentially just that. It's just accountancy software, which is on the internet, meaning you can access it from anywhere, be on it an iPad, phone, computer. And where it works well from our perspective is when clients are using it, if they're looking to get advice or our opinion on anything, we can literally be logging on and helping them straight away and see what their affairs are. As long as it's kept up to date, by the way, and the stuff that's entered in it is good, it's reasonable. Yeah.
Great. So, Liam, do you have the main advantages of cloud accounting in terms of running it efficiently and the advantages of running this efficiently?
Yeah, there's multiple ways. There could be clients ourselves could be running it efficiently. Some of them being repeating invoices, where it's automatically setting up the monthly invoices to get sent out by themselves, or bank rules, for example, which can also help with monthly payments, etc., which is very good for clients because sometimes it can probably feel like a tedious task, but when you've got them rules set up to make it more efficient, it feels more of a breeze, if anything, I'd say.
I know myself so for example, I use cloud accounting. I've used it for years, ever since I've been in business for our business, for SeavorChartered. And before I set up the automations, let's say I was doing my own VAT return at the time, it took us like 12 to 15 hours to do my own VAT return, which is a hell of a lot of time. And then once, things like Dext came out and we started using that and we set up all the automations, it generally cut down that 12, 15 hours to like 4 or 5 hour type of task once it was set up. That's a big saving, like when you're busy, because I know if other business owners, which I'm sure they are a bit like myself, you don't do that aspect of it in your working hours. You're actually doing it in your free time of a weekend because you see it as in it's not your core business to be doing that sort of stuff. So you don't want it spending 15 hours if you can get it efficient and be spending 5. You want to spend as little time on it as possible, but you want it right. So that's how I think there's those automations, how they really help is just start cutting down the time that you have to spend on doing the stuff.
Great, yeah. So I know you touched on using Dext slightly. Would you be able to just explain what Dext is for any of our listeners and how they can use it?
Yeah. So not to give Dext a good sales pitch on Dext, but it is market leading software in that area for me. And primarily what it is just purchase ledger, invoice capture and software. That's its main focus. What I mean by that is traditionally, historically, clients to get their records to accountants, or, they'd be dealing with paper, they'd be dropping them off in a bag or box or file of those records. Or if they've got an internal in-house accountant, they'd be passing them a paper and the paper would be manually entered into the accounting software. What Dext does is essentially now using a phone or an iPad, taking a picture of the receipt, that gets pushed into Dext, which they can push it into the accounting software. But it's actually capturing the data automatically as well using OCR. So it'll capture the date, the net amount, the VAT amount, the gross amount, and also the supplier details. And it can even categorize it correctly. So, for example, you could be out buying a coffee from Costa. That invoice, you could literally take a snap with your phone. It's then logged into the system. And in theory, that receipt now, you don't need to retain it because it's retained digitally indexed. And if you've got all the automations set up there, you literally could, the next time you could see that receipt is when it's a cost item within your costs on Xero within your accounts. It can be set up so it's that efficient.
Yeah.
So it saves a hell of a lot of time from somebody being paid ultimately to manually key all that information in. And is it? I don't know what you think, Liam, but I think it's really accurate.
Oh, very accurate. And the feedback we've had from clients as well who currently use it, they love it because they used to think, collecting records could be a tedious task, but now they're just on the phone, as soon as they get a receipt, taking a picture, sending it across to Xero, sorted, and they can get more up-to-date figures.
Yeah, so Dext is essentially keeping it on time as well in real time rather than it being a monthly task as it can be.
Yeah.
Which can also help clients make business decisions quicker.
Like for going forward.
Yeah, and it's good as well because, yes, you're capturing it, so that's saving you loads of time. But, I've had clients say, I'm worried though, I can't remember if I took a picture of an invoice, so I take it again. It knows whether it's a duplicate. It can base that on the invoice number, or if it's the same dates and amounts, it'll question whether it's a duplicate. So it's already sorting that out anyway. So you don't even have to worry if you've took a picture already. My advice is, well, just take it again because it will get sorted out. And then there's the other side, especially I know in some industries, hospitality being one, a lot of the invoices can almost be handwritten, the butcher's bill or whatever, that sort of thing. And you would think, oh, well, it's never going to read that. But actually, a lot of the time it reads that and it gets it right. If it doesn't, it highlights it to you and you might need to type the amount in. But it's actually surprising how many times it gets that bang on and it doesn't even need your any input there on a handwritten butcher's bill. It just saves so much time. I think it's well worth it. And the investment cost is really low for the benefits and time it could save you.
The good thing is as well, once you've scanned on one type of supplier, when it comes to the next invoice from that same supplier, it uses the same rules, which can also help with automation and making the process so much more efficient.
Well, I know if we get on to later talking about like accounting software as well, being able to use reports and stuff like that in it, it's the consistency on it. So I know a lot of clients that I work with, they try and be consistent if they're dealing with it themselves and try and process the costs or the income to the right places in their accounts. This helps them be consistent. So, for example, if it's a BP bill for fuel, it will know BP is probably fuel, so it's going to go to motor expenses. That makes it consistent.
Yeah.
And it just makes things easier, more consistent, and speeds up the whole process.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, so I think we'll have a bit of a discussion on reporting as well and how that will help our clients. Is it Xero that produces these reports, and are they quite easy to work with?
Yeah, the best reports are definitely on Xero. When you go to the reporting section of the top bar, it comes up with the automatically starred ones, your profit and loss balance sheet, the ones which you're mostly interested in. But it also brings up your age debtors and age payables as well. So you can have a look at them, see who owes you. You can even backdate it to see how historical invoices are, etc., what needs paid, who needs to pay you, etc. So as long as everything else is being up to date and hopefully the use of Dext and everything else, bank rules, etc., it should be about spot on. Yeah.
Like I think the reporting, me primarily when I'm working with clients, I'm actually not looking at the inputting side. They ask me the questions and I do know how to do that, and I've been through the whole process myself with SeavorChartered, but it's the reporting aspect that I'm mainly more focused on. And, ultimately you can be looking at, well, how am I doing year to date? You can look at each month separately. You can click on any aspect, a cost or an income, drill down to what's in there so you can scrutinise it or see or explain why that cost that month is that high, for example. You can then even go drill down to a copy of the physical receipt of it. But in terms of the reporting, it's great because you can see, yes, year to date, how am I doing? Well, how am I doing this year compared to last year to date? This month, how are the sales doing compared to this same month last year? And as well as that, if you're do carry out budgets at the start of the year, or you're projecting how do I think the next 12 months are going, you can compare it to that as well. And it can be good for making sure are you on target to achieve what you want to achieve as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots of benefits. They have got other features which they introduced. Which is the short-term cash flow aspect. This is about Xero specifically, but all the cloud accounting softwares have similar sort of functionality, where they're offering a snapshot, in graphical format, of what the turnover is, the gross profit, the margin, overheads, and profit. But it is quite simplistic from my point of view. So when you're looking at these figures, you do also need to have an understanding of what they mean, just so that you're not kind of looking at them and thinking the wrong thing, because it might mean slightly different. And also knowing where it could fall down, because if you're not getting full management accounts produced, they're not necessarily going to be 100% accurate, but are they accurate enough for you to make decisions for your business? Then I would say the majority of the time they are, but you just need to make sure you understand that they're maybe not accurate to the penny, but they're giving you good information to make management decisions.
Yeah. And it's not just your box standard reports you've got either. You've got your other reports which clients might find interesting, like, okay, which customers have been invoiced the most in that certain period of time. You can compare it to previous years again. So yeah, there's a lot of customization, and there will probably be a report out there for what you need or what you're specifically looking for.
Well, I've definitely looked at those reports with clients. I know, looking at customers, for example, it sometimes surprises how much income can be generated by not having a lot of customers. And sometimes if their income's dropped or whatever, it could be, or that could show, well, how much have you billed them this year compared to the same point last year? How much had you billed that customer? And you might find, our customer's not using us as much. And then you could all of a sudden deal with that. Well, why is that? Is it because actually all of a sudden they may be quiet and there's nothing happening there? But is it because, well, actually they've found a new supplier that is offering a better service, or potentially they're more competitive on price, but it gives you the opportunity to go back to them, contact them, find out why that is, and you could maybe change it and get the sales back to the sort of levels they were. And the same with costs of suppliers. You could see what you're spending with suppliers, and then you can use that information to potentially negotiate better deals if you're spending a lot with them. So I think there's so many good benefits from the reports, and more benefits than potentially a lot of businesses are using.
Yeah, so we'd say a lot of people tend to underuse Xero where they could use it more to their needs.
Oh, I'd say so. I feel like some clients don't realise what they've got in front of them and don't take advantage of it, because it's not like it's going to cost extra for them to be able to run the report. It's there for them there.
Yeah.
So as long as all the information's on, they'll be able to get what they want when they want it.
I suppose it's just a learning curve, isn't it? And business owners, they're just so busy and they've got a million other things to deal with. It's what priority do you give to that? And I suppose I always put it to, yes, we're accountants, accounting professionals. So we place a really high importance on it, and we know how to deal with that. But at the same time, it's if you don't fundamentally understand the financials, will you really have a successful business going forward? Where I think you're setting yourselves up for a better chance of success, genuinely, if you have an understanding of that. And that doesn't mean scrutinise everything to the penny every day, but it does mean that maybe once a month, should you be touching in and seeing how much profit have I made? What does that mean for my cash position over the next 2 or 3 months? If you think like that, I think you're more likely to have a successful business than if you say, not hands off, I just want my account to deal with it, don't want to even think about it, don't want to know. Because that's when, if things, all of a sudden you're not as busy as you'd like, potentially jobs might not be as profitable as you think you are. And that ultimately could mean you're working hard for not what you deserve.
Yeah, and it just goes back to the fact of being able to make them decisions quicker.
Yeah.
Instead of just waiting until the end and thinking, oh, I haven't actually made any money here.
Yeah.
Yeah, to give good projections going forward.
Yeah.
Great. So I just wanted to have a quick touch on the training that us at SeavorChartered provide.
Yeah.
Liam, I know you do quite a lot of the training. Would
Yeah.
you be able to give us a run through?
Yeah, usually when it comes to the training, we do recommend doing 3 1-hour sessions. Reason being, there is a lot of information which could be consumed, and it can be quite overwhelming. And what we've done in the past with clients and done the 3 1-hour sessions, it seems like it's been quite successful, and we've had good positive feedback.
I think so.
Because during them 1 hour session, between the 1 hour sessions, I should say, they can go away, play around, add some information on for the next training session, which we can then play with again.
Yeah. Well, we did just used to do it all in one, didn't we?
Yeah.
They would come in for a morning, they'd come in for an afternoon, we'd sit with them, they'd give them the training, and then the next day they're back into busy business life.
Yeah.
And then they don't touch on it, and it's almost they've forgotten what we went through. Whereas they've got to be committed because they know in a week's time it's already in the diary. They're coming to see you.
Yeah.
So even if they're leaving it to the night before, at least they've done something over 3 weeks, and they genuinely then we found the stick with it, don't they?
Yeah.
And they feel more benefit. They find more value in doing it that way.
Yeah.
That's what my feedback's been, anyways.
Yeah, and I feel like it builds it up for them for the future as well, trying to get that consistency of updating the software, because as soon as you leave it for a few weeks, it can then feel like a chore.
Yeah.
So if you get it set up one day a week or something, for a couple of hours a week, at least then build you up for the future.
Yeah, get them ready for how to carry on going forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Well, I think we're going to come and wrap it up there, but thank you both for your input. It was really, really needed. So just to wrap up the whole cloud accounting benefit, it's time saving and can reduce stress for any of the clients using it. If anyone wants to have a chat with any of our team, if you just call the office on 01228 904 904, one of our lovely team members will be able to help.